first time ever.
Hear you loud and clearly.
And it was going place.
That stuff's great.
But the game is not a roguelike.
Boomer shooter.
Bang.
Hello, this is John St. John, and you're listening to KEEP In the Keep, bringing you all the hits from the finest in the world of gaming and entertainment. Now sit back and relax as the drowned god Godzilla lulls your mind with the tastiest talk in town.
Welcome to another chapter of In the Keep podcast. I'm your very own prophet of the drowned god, the Motherlode. The Keep is a collective of gaming enthusiasts compelled by the drowned god Godzilla to frag and jib one another into oblivion for all eternity. My name is Aloysius Davidander Abercrombie, that's long for mud, and I am Buff. I've been planning that all week. I've been thinking about what would I say? If I were in that fucking video, what would be my ridiculous name? And that's what I came up. Sorry. Was it disappointing? Should I start over?
No, that was beautiful. I love that.
Just kidding. So, could you guys just introduce yourselves to our audience here and let them know who you are and why you're so buff?
Right. Hey, my name is Omar, and I am the lead and primary developer for Buff. I have been for the past few years. And I'm Buff.
My mother ran away before I was born.
There it is.
Yeah. No, I'm Christian Kendall. I work at 3D Realms, and I help out on Buff from more of a technical standpoint.
Man, I played the demo and it's like fucking ridiculous. Like the physics in this game.
You played the demo and you didn't tell me about it. You didn't give me feedback.
Do you have any feedback right now?
Hey, the demo's been out for like 2 months.
I mean, what did you want me to do? Like write you a dissertation?
I like a 35-page essay minimum.
Yeah, no, it's fucking good, man. It's really, really like a silly, obviously, but like it's almost like you're doing this for the sake of art, if that makes any sense.
I mean, it's fun to make, and
yeah,
it's hard to make games this way, but everything I make for Buff is fun to make for the most part. And if it's not, I usually just don't do it. Or sometimes, if I have to do it, I'll ask Christian here, like, "Hey, how the fuck do I do this?"
So, like, what was the initial like idea? Where did this come from?
So for many, many, many years, I've been part of a lot of indie games, none of which have ever released. Not a single one. Except for a single one that came out on mobile that is not ever available to buy or play anywhere. But the point being is that I just figured, like, what the fuck is all this about? I can make a game. I figured, you know what, I can just fucking make a game. And I started to learn Unreal Engine. I started to learn Blender. I started to learn everything that I could learn about game development. And the reason that Buff looks the way that it does is because that's what I can do. There's like the original fucking Trello for Buff has like, oh, make a Tommy gun, make a shotgun, but I can't. Like back then, I couldn't make a shotgun or Tommy gun that looked good. So what could I do? You can make a bunch of shit that looked like it was made in MS Paint. So let's make a game that intentionally looks like it's made in MS Paint.
That kind of thing happens a lot, I guess, with artists. Like Scumhead, I can never stop talking about because I love him so much. But you know, it's like you work within your ability. And oftentimes that leads to like really unique art styles that stand out instead of, you know, because you look at artists like, if you're interviewing like concept artists for a game or some shit like that, and it's just, they can like do a million different things, but there's no distinct thing about it that stands out, you know? So
Yeah.
I guess if you were like trying to write a comic book and you're looking, or you're making an animated movie or something, and you need people who can just copy other art styles a lot, like that could be useful, but it doesn't, for me, like excite me
I get that.
when I look at that kind of thing.
I mean,
I don't know.
I figured it's better to like aim for something low or easy and like do that well than just like aim for the stars and just fuck it up completely.
I don't know, like that's generally a good philosophy in general with any project, games notwithstanding. Like just don't plan to shoot for the stars and then end up not being able to deliver, I guess.
Yeah.
But I mean, your game looks dope. It just like stands out when every single person I've seen, like, what the fuck is this art style? And like, it's always like a good reaction. It's never been like, this looks like shit or anything like that.
I hope so.
So
I see Christian smiling there. I saw you flexing a bunch of times while I was talking. I was like, what the fuck is this guy doing?
I wasn't flexing at all, but I was just the whole I am buff thing. You know, that was what I was all about.
Yeah, he's just trying to remind you that he's buff, bro.
Yeah, I actually had pitched him the idea of in the video from Realms Deep. I was like, hey, what if I just take a video of me bench pressing?
Oh yeah, that
bitch pressing. Yeah,
it took Christian like 3 or 4 days, or like 2 or 3 days actually, to actually give me the part that I asked for. Like, hey, could you read this line while reading off to the side? It took him. He kept delaying it for like 2 or 3 days, and finally gave it to me. And then after that, was like, hey, you want a video of me bench pressing? Like, motherfucker, what?
It was easily the best video in the vault. Like, and I felt pretty damn good about some of the shit that I had worked on, and then I saw what you guys did, and I was like, well, I might as well not even try. The only one that came close was Egg Wife's video, but we couldn't put that in the vault. Like, the shitcom, the 99C or whatever, Egg Wife shitcom. You can find it on YouTube, folks, but good God Almighty.
I'll look it up afterwards.
It is gnarly. It's like, it is the perfect advertisement for their game. It's just simply not something that I felt we could put on 3D Realms website and just let it sit there.
3D Realms website and YouTube channel in specific.
Yeah. Like that could lead to some lead down some dark paths. But
yeah.
The other thing that you guys, like, you were like messaging me, asking me questions about what you could do for the video, and I was like, anything you fucking want. And at one point you said, like, is it okay if I show someone like shirtless or in their underwear? And I was like, I don't know, like, it's not going on Twitch, so I don't guess it's a problem. But I didn't know what you were planning.
Yeah, initially I asked for shirtless because I planned on having Christian do his lines shirtless. And
so this is all just a big weird sex thing for you?
No. It's a little weird sex thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's sex comedy. But no, it is not. Sex comedy is not representative of the game literally at all.
At all. It's for people not tracking, like it's like a skating surfing shooter. And let's say like a single player arena shooter, like where you're kind of flying around in closed environments and shooting a plethora of different enemies that are swarming you. So not like Serious Sam, because you have way more, you have all the dimensions to work with. It's not like you're just running backwards and flat surfaces. But
I mean, like Serious Sam was kind of a big inspiration, but I feel like it's gone so past all my inspirations for Buff. Because like I love Painkiller, I love Serious Sam, Doom, Blood, but I think I poured a little too much Tony Hawk in there that I can't comfortably say like, oh, Buff is like this or Buff is like that, because it's I don't know what it's like.
Yeah, it's got its own really cool, unique movement style that, like, it's not quite Quake or Warfork or anything like that. It's just got its own thing going on, but it does in many ways artistically too remind me of Warsaw, because of, what do you call that art style?
Like a little toon shaded, cell shaded.
Yeah, cell shading, and also the fact that you can grind on rails and it's a shooter. So, but
I'll actually have to check that out afterwards.
Oh, it's an intense game. I'll play Warfork with you anytime you want, but it's like that's a whole thing.
I'm done.
Okay, cool. We're putting together some. In the Keep does a charity event every year. So honestly, by the time this comes out, it'll be like the week of that happening. But we'll be putting on some really badass charity tournaments and stuff involving different arena shooters, and Warfork will definitely be one of them. But
I've never played Warfork before, but I'm sure that I'll be a prodigy at it.
Have you ever played? You played Quake, like multiplayer stuff, right? Like Quake Live and Quake 3.
Mostly Quake 3 multiplayer.
You ever played CPMA?
I've not played CPMA.
Okay. Have you played Quake Champions?
I've played a little bit of Quake Champions, yeah.
Okay, so some of the characters in Champions have what you'd call CPMA movement, which is Challenge Pro Mod Arena movement. It's just a mod for Quake 3 that changes the movement style. And so the character Anarchy and also Sorlag, the dragon lady.
Those are Pokemon.
No. They have the CPMA style where it's like you're not really expected to hold down W once you get your momentum going. You kind of snake with A and D to I don't know, it's weird, but that's not what the movement is like in Buff, but it is an equally interesting and new way of moving in a game. Like you said, Tony Hawk was that a big like an influence on you in general, or
mostly like Tony Hawk, big influence. I'll say Jet Set Radio is also a big influence. Have you ever played that or checked it out? Yeah. A lot of similar art style, mostly, going around rails. What the fuck are we talking about?
Just talking about your influences for the game.
It's funnily enough, Buff was not going to have dashing and double jumping because I didn't want Buff to be very similar to Doom Eternal. Mm-hmm. But actually, I played a game called RoboQuest last year, and it had a very similar art style to Buff, had a very similar rail grinding to Buff. And while I was playing it, I thought, I wish I could double jump and dash in this game. So I just put it in Buff.
Was that were you like already kind of into it at that point, where did that mechanic change kind of your approach to the development and the design of the levels or anything, or was it just like this works?
It actually worked out pretty well for the levels that I was already making, and it was just, it did not add complications at all. It just made what's already there like way more fun.
Okay. There's something I talked to you about when I had David Scarecrow on the podcast, and like once you get pretty far into a game, like the size of Graven or whatever, it's like you change any one little thing, you try to like add in a new mechanic that doesn't hasn't been developed for up until that point in the game, then you can end up going into Pandora's box and like kind of fucking yourself. So for instance, like I think it was kind of late in the design that Graven introduced the swimming aspect, and water combat and shit. And like, that was like we can just add that sort of thing instead of it being like I don't know. You decide at some point in your game, like you're going to put double jumping in, but like every level up to that point didn't take that into account. And you could really end up in like, why is it in here kind of situation. Or you could do like Doom Eternal does and just introduce it, thing. Or, well, I should say Doom 2016 where it like gets introduced as a mechanic. And then the levels start to accommodate it.
Yeah, I feel like, luckily, thankfully enough, that has not been a problem with Buff. I do, like, when it is a problem with some games, it does stick out like a sore thumb. I remember a few months ago I was playing Wolfenstein Youngblood, and a game does have a double jump mechanic, and every single area of that game you can just break completely because you can just double jump out of the map, double jump, fucking sequence break everything. It was like, it is almost offensively an afterthought.
So like, was there ever really a plan? Or are you just kind of flying by the seat of your pants? Like, just like, let's just see what happens. Like,
I'm just winging it.
So There was no game design document or like a Bible of like this is what we're gonna do. Or...
There are plenty of game design documents, plenty of Trellos for Buff, but most of Buff's ideas I've learned just come from improvising.
Yeah,
it's like you've played the demo. You notice that everything like sort of breaks, and you can bounce on the fucking fire hydrant, water, and all that stuff. All that was just not planned. A friend of mine, Caden, he's another developer. He just sort of like decided, hey, we should make all these things destructible. Christian definitely helped out a lot with the fucking destructible items and the interfaces with that. And that, like, there's an old demo for Buff that is, I don't know where you can get it actually, but it does not have destructible objects, and it is just so damn flat and uninteresting.
Yeah.
But after that, just the sounds of things breaking is like music to my ears. And going anywhere and seeing that it's just a bunch of broken lamps, fire hydrants spewing out water, all this stuff, blown up cars. It is so fucking nice and fun to me to just see that. And
yeah, it's really free. Like you mentioned, like Tony Hawk and Jet Set Radio and stuff like that. But even though it is a game where you're goal driven and you're like obviously like kill all the enemies and move to the next area, it feels like this like sandbox kind of thing for like I spent way too much time just like trying to get on the rocket guys as they took off when you kill them. I'm just like, how high can I ride this? Like, let's see.
I mean, you could technically ride that shit way out of the map. It'll teleport you back at some point, but you can go all out. And I hope the speedrunners can use that shit. I fucking love speedrunning, and like anytime there's something that can potentially be abused for speedrunning, I'm like, how easy is it for like casual players to do it versus like how can speedrunners use it? And sometimes they just leave it in.
Yeah.
It's
go ahead.
It's like technically if you gain enough health, because like when you get health over 100% you'll take down, but if you have enough health, it's like 700 or 600 health, you can technically nuke jump.
Yeah.
You know, you can rocket jump in other games, you can rocket jump in Buff by default, but if you have enough health in Buff, you can fucking nuke jump. Just shoot yourself straight to the end. Be my guest.
So do you plan on that? Like, is that just like, I want that in general in my game where people can do all these crazy like speedrunning tricks or?
I mean, yeah. For the most part, like, this takes a lot of testing, but I like, oh, how much should the player's friction be? How much, like, how do we limit casual players from going faster than they can ever perceive, but also give some leeway there for speedrunners to be able to just go as fast as they're able to if they're good enough.
Yeah.
And it's worked out pretty well so far. And you go.
No, I was just gonna like the game's in Unreal 4, right?
Yeah, UE4.
Yeah. So Christian, are you like you're doing a lot of the programming for this kind of stuff, or is it kind of like a mixed bag for you guys, or?
Yeah, so the programming side, I mostly just come in and like give him programming paradigms, things like the proper way of making things, and then he implements them pretty much, and I'll be there kind of supporting him in the background, letting him
like
know.
A consultant manager guy.
Yeah,
yeah.
So he's sort of like a consultant in the way that maybe like, oh, I don't know how to do the scoring system. I'll message Christian, hey, how do I do the scoring system? He'll tell me how to do it. I'll follow exactly his steps, and then I'll forget afterwards. So he pretty much just did it by just telling me step by step.
Well, what he doesn't realize is I'm actually training him to one day work on my games and trick him into it, right? So I'm making sure I teach him what I would do. That way, down the line, he doesn't realize it, but I've been conditioning him this entire time. So it's just a trick. Well, he obviously knows now.
It's a trick, but you've told me about this like 50 times over the past however many years.
And you keep forgetting.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I just kind of shoot him out sometimes.
Yeah.
So.
My memory is very selective. Who is this?
Welcome back here on In the Keep podcast.
I'm
Ty. Nice to meet you. for the first time ever. It's great to have you here, and today we're going to be talking about the game Buff with the developers Omar and Chris. I'm kidding.
Finally, I think I've
My
heard
mother
that
ran
game.
away when I was born.
Oh, changed it.
Yeah, but it's actually seeing Buff is super cool though, because Judd and I, we've known each other 2011, I think, is when we first met.
Yeah.
And seeing him go from kind of, just being a member in the community to like taking on game dev over the last 4 years.
I think 2017 is when I actually got hands-on into programming. I think before that it was just like dumb stuff.
Was it the game jam we did together? Was that the real first like foray into it?
I think we did we tried doing a little project before that, and then we did the game jam in the middle of it. And then we just not Wicked Vengeance. And yeah, I was trying to learn Unreal Engine 4 by that point, and I wasn't doing too hot. And then Christian just sort of dragged me by my feet, kicking and screaming, added me to a team, and he was like, "Yeah, do this, this, and this, and that," and just kind of threw me in the deep end, and that was the best way to learn.
that is always the best way to learn. I think I probably told this story before, but I literally learned how to swim because I think it was my 6th birthday. My dad just threw me in the deep end of the pool and said, like, "You're gonna make it or you're not, son." And I was just like, "Hey, I learned to swim. I learned how to doggy paddle anyway. I can tread water now."
There's a universe out there where that story has a way different ending.
Well, I mean, he was there. It's like, if I couldn't hack it, I'm sure he would have, jumped in the pool and got me. But I was sufficiently scared enough to accomplish the mission.
So, can you swim now? Because you said you can doggy paddle, but you got.
I'm a pretty terrible swimmer, to be honest. I have gotten in the pool and I've tried to do it with form, like Michael Phelps or some shit like that. What's the thing? The butterfly stroke and all that shit. But it's not an interest I have. If you threw me in the ocean, I'd probably drown.
Yeah. I
mean, you swam pretty well in that Realms Deep video.
Yeah, that's how I was going to bring up.
That was the shallow end.
I mean,
I assure you, the water was the least of my worries. What really pissed me off in that video is that when Mike hit me, I told him, like, "Fucking hit me, bro. Like, this needs to sound like you really hit me." And he was just like, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "Fuck yeah, bro." Like, I'll risk it for the biscuit. And then he did, and that was fine, and it looked really good and it sounded really good. But when they made they actually did the video itself, like the editing, they replaced the sound of the shovel hitting me with the shovel from Postal 2.
Oh.
And I was just like, why did I go through all this trouble?
Oh. That's gotta hurt, bro. That's a real shovel, and you just fucking... Damn, man. At least it looked real.
It did. I mean, it looked pretty good, I thought. This is like the lowest budget thing ever. This is literally my buddy with my Google Pixel shooting the whole thing. And I thought it turned out pretty okay.
Yeah, Christian, if you don't know, Ty got hit in the back with a shovel into a pool during Realms Deep.
I watched most of it. I fell asleep at the end. Before Buff was shown, like probably 10 minutes before Buff. I had COVID at the time.
Yeah, Christian had COVID during Realms Deep, and we had a watch party with all my friends. Got him like, "Hey, Buff's gonna be there." Most of them did not know that Realms Deep was gonna be 4 hours long, and Buff was gonna be shown like at the very end. Yeah. And Christian, he had his webcam on. He just fell asleep on the fucking floor. Like, right before we got to Buff.
Yeah.
Like, damn, bro.
That was, it was really cool, the reaction video you guys did, where it was like, I think I just, hinted that the trailer was coming up, and then you were like, "Oh!"
We just blew up.
Alex didn't have to point out that, like, "Oh, these little string beans," or whatever. That was fucking funny, but yeah.
Hey. It all worked out, and it was top of the world that day. That's very good, and I very much appreciate everyone at 3D Realms, everyone who ran at Realms Deep, and you were a fucking You were a fucking treasure, man. You helped out so many people. I think you were on the Discord call for like what 20 hours in one day before the submissions.
I did pull like a 24-hour day on the submission day because I knew it was people in different time zones, and like, I mean, I'm just dedicated like that. I don't know. I didn't have to, but I promised everybody like I'm going to do my best, and I did. So, but that was all. No one told me I had to do that. I just felt it was important, especially because I was kind of a single point of failure. I think, you know, and for a lot of people, like they weren't going to get to talk to like Fred Schreiber necessarily, you know. So I'm the middleman. I got to be here. Next year, I'll be delegating that a lot more, though. Like, dragging like Arlene or somebody. Like, you heard the kittens, deal with that.
Yeah.
And I think Zach was working or something that day, so it just didn't. It lined up. So, well, Ty's going to be here all day. At one point, I was on my webcam and I was literally like cooking. I was like in my kitchen with my phone out.
I remember that. I think I remember that.
It was like making a pulled pork or some shit. And people were coming in like, "Hey, my trailer's ready." I'm like, "Okay, I'll get to it in an hour when I'm done eating."
I think next year it'll be like easier in general because this year, like 2021, everyone knew like what Realms Deep was, what the trails were going to be like, what the show was going to be like, because there was a precedent last year. Mm-hmm. I think next year, if they're going to do a vault, there's a precedent for this year. Everyone's going to be like, "Oh, that's what the vault is like. That's what's going to be shown."
Yeah. I explained that many times in the meetings leading up to this. I'm like, nobody's going to understand this vault thing, and we're just going to be plagued with questions about what it is. And until we show someone what it is, they're not going to know. And but you're absolutely right. Now that there's been a precedent set, then it'll
like Buff's vault video was just kind of a result of not understanding what the fuck the vault was. Because I just wrote a text document. I was like, my initial thought was, oh, I'm going to write a text document for the vault. I'm going to add a little flavor. I'm going to make it a limerick, you know. Make it a limerick, make it interesting. Never mind, a limerick's fucking lame and stupid. I'm going to add the entire screenplay for Austin Powers 1, but replace all the names with Buff. That'll make it cooler. And it did, but it was also still fucking stupid and lame. And the submission was in like 2 days. I was like, what can I do literally right now with what I have? And I went to fucking Google Docs, I wrote up a few lines, and I messaged my friends like, "Hey, can you record this? Can you record that?" And just threw it together.
Well, that's also your approach to game design too. So it makes sense that creatively you work best in that environment.
Just figuring shit out on the spot. It's probably a character flaw, to be honest. Just having to be thrown in the deep end.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that, man. Like it obviously turned you turned chicken shit into chicken salad. Like you had the worst case scenario and you turned it into the best case scenario. And that was the hard thing to explain because people would ask me like, "What should I do?" And I was like, "Anything you want, as long as it doesn't show your dick. Like I don't care, as long as no one gets hurt, like, and no one gets like, it's not something that we can't show on Twitch or YouTube or whatever. Like I don't fucking care." If you think it advertises your game well, send it in. And for the most part, it worked out. We did for Call of Ragnar. We did like the behind the music thing with Tony and all that. And that was really fucking dope. But I mean, it's a magnificent, well produced video that is like him talking technically about the music and everything. And then on the other, like the very next video is just something completely wild. And that's what I liked about it. It was kind of like this community grab bag thing.
It was a lot of fun. I don't remember what game it was, but their vault video was just some like World War II soldier taking a fat dump in the bathroom. That was
it's a World War I soldier conscript. Yeah. It's just like and then the toilet explodes. The whole toilet thing was. I don't know. I actually don't know where that came from. Somebody at some point. I think it was Fred. That was you guys that said like, let's make the toilet theme.
Well, so. I think the toilet theme came right after the first like big Discord call with everyone in the Realms Deep server. Remember, it was the guys from Project Absentia. They were showing off their game, and they were going around.
And they had that random ass toilet that you.
They had a toilet in the warehouse, and we told them to go back, and we just kept ragging on it because, like, imagine working in that fucking place, and like all the bathrooms are full. And you can't hold it in. You're like, fuck, I gotta use the warehouse toilet. And we just sort of fucking couldn't stop joking about it. We just couldn't stop ragging on it for the rest of the entire call.
I think there's an episode of Louie where they're like at a Home Depot or some shit like that, and the kid just like takes a shit in the showroom toilet.
Oh no!
But yeah, sometimes you just got to go, and it's obviously that's a toilet. You have to use it.
Yeah.
There's no plumbing, but at least you can close the lid and walk away.
And it's. I mean, ever since then, I've added a bunch of toilets to Buff, none of which have ever been anywhere like private. They're all like perched at the edge of on top of a building, so you can poop while looking down on the street.
It's like Egg Wife has that level that's like literally a giant toilet, right?
I mean, I would expect Egg Wife to have that, like, regardless. I would. It just seems normal.
Yeah. I was disappointed. I think Jahar cut it out from the main show, but the beginning of me talking to them was like, your game is shit. And then it goes into the interview. But I think they cut that part out because it kind of sounded like really mean. I didn't mean it that way. I meant it like literally your game is just full of shit, like everywhere. I think
you showed off that beginning part in the Discord call.
Probably, yeah. No, it was mind blowing because they weren't even invited. Fred Schreiber accidentally, or I don't know if it was an accident, but he posted like the email or the vault or some shit like that. He posted that publicly on Twitter, and then they just like, there's my opportunity. And then like we're going through the document and like, okay, so look at the submissions. I'm like, who the fuck does anybody know who this is? And Zach was like, I don't know who they are. And then I checked it out and I was just like, oh yeah, they're in. Like it only makes sense.
You gotta respect the hustle.
I do, man. That happens all the time too, man.
That's what dreams are made of.
You put out a job advertisement and then somebody applies for a different position that's not that job. They're like, hey, I know that this is not what you're looking for, but if you ever need me, I saw this as my opportunity to contact you. And I'm like, I can't be mad at that.
And then they turn out to be like, oh, this guy's a prodigy at what he does. Let's hire him aboard anyway.
Yeah. You got to snake your way in there, grease some palms, show up at those like banquet dinners that you have no invite for and just pretend like you belong there. Start talking to people. Catch me if you can kind of thing.
Yeah, you gotta get rid of your dignity if you're gonna get anywhere in life.
Can I put that on that quote that?
Go ahead.
Yes.
Put it on a shirt or something.
You got to get rid of your dignity if you want to get anywhere in life. That's perfect. So, back to the game itself. With the enemy design, were these all also just like that? Wouldn't it be funny if we made this thing, or like did you have like an idea of what you were going for?
I sort of just. I mean, I kind of just wing it. Most of the way I design enemies is just I want them all to have a different silhouette. Because if you're going around, you're 500 feet in the air, you're going 1,000,000 miles per hour, right. And you look down, you're not gonna be like, "Is that guy wearing a blue pants? Is that guy wearing a red shirt?" No, this ain't gonna work. You gotta look down, you see like, oh, that's a huge monkey man walking around on his arms with no feet. Yeah, I know exactly what that enemy is. And
silhouetting is super important. You're right. Yeah, it works too in the game.
And other than that, I just like to have fun with them. I got a big shark that crawls around on all fours. I got a flying diva, and all of his clothes are super glistening and shiny.
Yeah.
And I showed this out briefly in the fucking in the demo and in the trailer. We got a building with arms, just chase you around, fucking try to crush you.
I love that shit, man. No, it's interesting how like your level progression is always like blowing up a building and then you surprise them at the end with like, oh, but not this one. Like,
yeah. I like that. I like. I'm gonna say it right now. Buff will not feature doors that you open. You will only progress by blowing stuff up, blowing up buildings, blowing up walls, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it would have been nice to know ahead of time. I'm just kidding.
I'm in the process of adding more ways to like tell the player what the hell is going on.
Yeah,
that was big feedback from the demo. Is that people just did not know where the buttons were or what the buttons did.
Do you just not like making doors? Is that what it is?
I think doors are just boring.
That's true. That's like a big thing, at least in like the Doom community, is just like that's level design 101 is can you make a door? I've seen like door jams where like they're like, yeah, we're all gonna make a door today, and it's just like a million different ways to make a door, kind of shit. And apparently, I don't know, I'm not a fucking level designer or a programmer, so apparently that's difficult for some people. I don't know.
Oh, I will tell you this. I know I'm not. Doors and Graven are just like the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. I'm not sure I'm allowed to say this. I don't know if you have to cut it, but yeah, doors apparently are a tricky subject for some people.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know what it is about them. I mean, it seems like they mostly just open and close. So, you know,
that's how they're supposed to work. I think it's the stuff around the doors that's the problem. I think it's the stuff around the doors that's the problem, Christian.
What do you mean? They just
comment on it.
They just make them block.
Like I'm not sure you're saying anything that's like not a recognized, just like a general problem in games is like, you know, like I said earlier, once you get down the line a certain length of time, you've been doing things with different programmers and in different ways, and then you end up like, oh shit, we need to change the way the door works, and then it's just like all this, oh fuck, everything's fucked for like going all the way back. It could be something that simple. That's like building you don't want to build a house of cards, I should say, you know. It's knocked over easily later. But what kind of go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say you touched on this a little bit earlier, and you were talking about like adding features after you had already made all these levels.
Right.
Yeah, that's a huge thing, and I'm not a level designer or anything. You know, I'm a programmer. But yeah, adding new features to an existing level, you know, you got to be really cautious about it because there's a lot of times, and there's quite a few games that I know that have suffered from the issue of Wolfenstein, where you can double jump out of the map because they add something way too late in development. So it's a hard thing to balance between making like a vertical slice and like horizontal, especially in the beginning. I don't know how level designers somehow plan out what they're gonna do before they have all the features, because these, especially when it comes to movement, if you have any new movement features, you're gonna mess with the entire flow of a level.
That's the benefit and beauty of having that like agile structure ahead of time. You want your game to be, if you're making a game with a budget and a timeline, very different than doing whatever the fuck you want. I would say, but it's like feature complete is the first step. You do that before anything else, because we're not going to design a bunch of levels and then add in double jumping 6 months down the road and then for me that's a no-go. Period. But there is I say it's the art versus the business aspect of it. Is like like with what you're doing, where you can just like, I feel like I'm gonna add some crazy ass shit right now because it's my game and I'll do whatever the hell I want, and I can take as long as I want, and who cares? There's a beauty to that art form as well. It's just adding more work to yourself. But sometimes it's better, and sometimes it ultimately is worth it, to get the best product you want. Game product. I sound like a fucking creep when I say refer to it.
No, you can call games a product. We're not too pretentious here to admit that games are ultimately a product.
Do you have like an idea of like when are you going into early access, or is it just going to be a full release kind of thing?
It's going to launch in early access, and afterwards I'm going to have a few more episodes. Mm-hmm. I realize there are, as hard as I try, as hard as I push, there are a few things that need money to be made.
Right.
And those I will be pushing until after early access, where hopefully money will exist to be spent.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be launching a first episode, kind of like hopefully like a 2 or 3 hour experience in early access, and then more episodes down the line after that.
I like the way that Postal Brain Damage approached their early, or not Postal Brain Damage, Postal 4 went with their early access, because it's like, they already have the existing structure of like, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And so they just decided that each of those is the next, release while they're in early access until they finish the game. And that leaves you with while they do have to like gate off certain areas in the first, few days or whatever, they already did that anyway in Postal 2. So it's like not that big of a deal. It doesn't feel like an incomplete experience when you play Monday, Tuesday, for instance.
That's good.
Yeah, and then it just gets better over time. But simultaneously financing the further production of the product. I said a product again of the game.
Hold on. The games are art. And you shall not refer to them as a product.
Nah, man, you need money. You want money.
Yeah.
It's the whole shebang. You're in business now.
That's how you live.
How's that going for you?
Life?
No.
I thought you were saying living.
No, like handling the logistics and the business aspect, and then when you start making money, like you got a plan for that? You got your accountant and your lawyer keyed in?
Yeah, I gotta figure that shit out, bro. Like, the government's gonna come for every cent I get. Yeah, I'll figure it out. I'll look into it. I should have like at least a couple of months to figure that out.
Yeah.
And fingers crossed. Hopefully, I will not have to delay episode 2 by due to me being in jail.
They give you a laptop in jail, and you're just it's like some fucking big dude named Diesel. It's like, "What you doing there, boy?" And you're just like, "I'm making a game."
Are they putting me? Are they putting me in prison with like cartoon criminals named Diesel?
That's the inspiration for your next character.
Oh.
It's just you and fucking Danny Trejo.
No, I'd go to prison with Danny Trejo, to be honest. I feel like that would be a good career move, to be cellmates with Danny Trejo.
I think it'd be really cool if you did. I mean, like, I don't want to go to prison ever, but if you did have to go to prison and you end up a cellmate with somebody that's like, whoa, what the fuck? Really?
Yeah.
We're here to, like, it's like Tom Cruise gets arrested at the same time as you.
Oh,
you just like,
like, yeah. Those are the few times where being arrested would be a good career move.
Then he's like, yeah, I'll be a voice actor, man. We were cellmates. Who cares? And it's like how was it South Park that had George Clooney play a dog? Kind of shit. You could just have Tom Cruise do just like enemy grunts and like just starring Tom Cruise.
Man, fuck yeah, I'd get Gianni on board. Not Gianni. Yeah. I'd get Tom Cruise on board. I was gonna segue that because like I do want to get Gianni on board with Buff. He actually messaged me on Twitter. I was like fucking starstruck.
I just got out of I was in a call with Gianni yesterday.
Oh,
yeah. We're doing a little surprise thing. It's gonna be pretty cool. But
hopefully the surprise happens before the podcast goes up.
I believe it will, and actually, I'm in control of that. So, but yeah, we're doing like a little surprise for somebody's special day, and I'm not going to go into too much more detail, just in case I have to release this beforehand.
Hell yeah,
yeah. What would you have him do? Like, what's kind of your idea, if you can say?
I mean, I've got a few characters that need voices. Right now, all the characters have placeholder voices by my friend Caden, and we just can't have that. We got a lot of characters and we need a lot of voices.
Huh?
And like Gianni messaged me on Twitter, he wants to be a part of it. And Sly Cooper?
Yeah.
Kevin Miller.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Kevin Miller, voice of Sly Cooper, also wants to be a part of it.
That's pretty fucking awesome, man.
Hell yeah.
It's really cool when people who like don't have to like go out of their way to like reach out and try to be part of indie projects. And I mean, I guess they're just hustling too, but it's good networking.
Like he's a fucking sweetheart. Like 2 years ago, he saw Buff when it was like this dinky, honestly, just piece of trash indie game. It looked like it looked
to now where it's a less dinky piece of trash.
Right now, Buff has some appeal to it, some visual appeal. Back then, Buff was just visually repulsive. And he saw that. He was on Twitter, and like he did some lines for it just out of the kindness of his heart. He's like, this looks cool as hell, and I want to be a part of it. And he just donated some lines to it. I was like, hell yeah.
John St. John did that for the podcast, and he's just like, hey,
Nice.
if you ever want me to read anything for you, and I was like, you want to do the intro to the show? And he's just like, sure. He didn't ask for anything. He was really just out of the kindness of his heart.
Hell yeah,
really
bro.
Cool.
He sounds like a sweetheart.
It would be really funny is if that were actually not John St. John, and I just had to get Gianni do John St. John's voice.
Oh, Gianni, you got scammed by Gianni, catfished by Gianni.
No, it's actually that is actually John St. John in the intro to the podcast. But I wouldn't blame anybody for not believing it, because it just seems weird. Well, now it seems a little more believable because like there's some public interaction there. But like when we were first doing that, I can imagine people like tune into this like little fucking indie podcast talking about like Project Absentia or whatever, and then they're just like, no, that's not real.
I mean, John St. John, he's like he reads memes and shit on Twitter. I seen that. I heard it. Other than Gianni, I've seen fucking John St. John do that meme shit on Twitter.
So, do you have any other like ideas of like who? So you need 3 characters, right? Like that's all you need voice acting wise.
No, I got fucking plenty of characters. I think they're like, I'm on the 12th or 15th enemy. Yeah, 12 or 15. Mix them up all the time.
Yeah.
So I need a lot of voices.
Well, shit. Well, I'll hit some people up and send them your way if you want me to.
I mean, sure, that'd be fucking awesome.
I know a couple people. I know a couple folks who like to talk into microphones and say weird shit all the time.
I mean, hell yeah, sounds good. I also, I was initially going to have like, all my friends are going to be there. But after that Realms Deep video, I realized that most of my friends cannot act. So, Christian got in. Christian did a good job reading his lines. But I have one friend who, like, I messaged him with the instructions like, hey, can you read this line? And then say, my name is Dragon Falafels, and I am buff. And, like, read it while looking off to the side in a quiet, sort of soft-spoken voice, like all those Ubisoft E3 interviews or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he read that and then said, my name is Dragon Fafalas, and I am buff. Then he turned towards the camera and gave it a big wink. Like, what the fuck? I didn't... what the fuck? So
I didn't realize that Arlene was like a fucking thespian actress until I saw that. I was like, holy shit, this is intense. Like, that part almost made me cry.
I mean...
like, it's tearjerker.
It's a little story.
So did you write all that yourself?
I wrote... Yeah.
Huh. Nice.
Some
should be making short films.
Some of the stuff was improvised, like at the end when the guy just got up and he was not wearing any pants. That was completely improvised, but that had to be the ending. That had to be the topper, and yeah, it all worked out.
Are there any other like aspects to the game that haven't been revealed yet? Like things that. Like environmental changes? Is it all going to be the cityscape sort of thing, or?
Oh no, there's going to be different levels. I think in the trailer for Realm Deep actually showed off a little bit of the mall area, a little bit of the theater area, and I want to have a lot of different varieties. So
like urban jungle kind of theme for the most
sort
part?
of like yeah. It's all like I wanted to have it all be like places where kids would go, because a lot of buff is like child's imagination sort of stuff. It's all child's play. All the weapons are makeshift stuff I found lying around the house, and
the soda can and a paper towel roll.
Yeah. And after that I was like, no, that's fucking stupid. I'm not gonna limit myself. I'm gonna do whatever I want. I'm the supreme leader of Buff Corp. I do what I want. I want someone to cut this out, and like in 5 years when I get canceled for doing some stupid ass shit.
I told you before we started if you want. You
No,
might
keep it.
if you do say so. Okay.
Keep it. If I
I'll
ever
do
get canceled, it better be as funny as possible.
It's not. Hopefully, it's not for an actual crime. It's just because you said something really funny.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And then you get thrown in prison with Danny Trejo and Tom Cruise.
No, well, yeah. Danny Trejo and Tom Cruise. I'd definitely go to prison with them.
You'd be the safest guy in prison for sure.
Is that an insult? Oh, no, safest as in, yeah, they protect me. I get that.
Yeah. I mean, who's gonna fuck with Danny Trejo?
Nobody.
I would imagine if you walking through the prison yard and Danny Trejo's there, like I don't think anybody's trying to pick a fight with that guy. They're just like, "Whoa, Danny Trejo, you're fucking badass."
Fuck yeah.
Like,
I love Machete from Spy Kids.
yeah, he's Uncle Machete. Like that's canonical too. That's in the same universe.
For real?
Which is so weird. Yes, yeah. Robert Rodriguez is just fucking genius.
How do you go from
Uncle,
Spy Kids to like R-rated Machete?
Uncle Machete is retired in the timeline of Spy Kids. He mentions that he used to be like an agent, right? And that's why he has all these connections and shit. And so then it's like weird. I haven't seen Spy Kids in so long. We should watch that.
Sure, I'm down.
Fuck this podcast. Let's go.
Let's go Spy Kids watch party.
Just turn it into a commentary over the movie.
Oh, hey! Welcome to the official In the Keep review of Spy Kids.
What is up with these thumb people?
I don't know. It's fine. I just remember.
Surprised
the
that's not in
people.
Buff.
Thumb people?
I got to write that down.
He's writing it down.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I was about to say that's completely belongs on Buff.
Yeah. The Slizzards, remember those guys from Spy Kids 2?
What the fuck, the Slizzards? I don't remember the Slizzards.
Yeah, it's Spy Kids 2. So they get to that island, and Steve Buscemi's got like all the miniatures of the monsters and shit. He's like naming them all off, and one of them is called a Slizzard.
Oh, yeah. Isn't that like the kind of like the Island of Dr. Moreau thing, where it's just a bunch of mutant animals thing? Yeah, I remember that.
All right, that concludes our review of Spy Kids. Well, actually, did you see Spy Kids 3D in theaters when it came out?
No, I only saw it on TV in 2D.
I think that was the last great actual in theater 3D experience I've ever had. Every time since then, it's just like you're just charging me extra money for glasses.
That was like 2006 or something, right?
Yeah. I mean, I was a kid. I was a little kid when Spy Kids 3 came out, so it was bad fucking ass for me. I was like, like shit literally would come like flying out into the audience, and like it was because when I paid for like, was it Godzilla or some shit in 3D, and I was like, this is the same movie with glasses on.
The 1998 Godzilla?
No, like a couple years ago, not the not Godzilla King of Monsters or whatever the fuck it's called.
The 2014 Godzilla.
Yeah, that one. The one with the Breaking Bad guy. You didn't like it?
It was, look, when Godzilla was on screen, it was the best movie ever made. But Godzilla was never on screen.
Didn't the reviews say opposite? Or like there's not enough human drama. There's too much monster fighting.
I think that there's a balance you have to have with Godzilla movies, and I don't. The thing is about the characters, I don't really give a shit. I didn't like put this movie on to get involved in some military drama bullshit. Like I just want to see Godzilla wreck shit. But I mean, you have to have a plot, right? And the problem is that they like in that particular movie, they just killed off Bryan Cranston's character, who's like he's like the most important character, and then they just kill him off really early, and then it's just like I've lost the plot. Now we're just following this fucking Marine guy around, and I don't even know why he's here.
The human characters in Godzilla 2014, they wouldn't be likable if they were all cast by dogs. They're all just dogs walking around. Like I'm just here to watch Godzilla fuck shit up, and that was not it. That was not the movie.
I thought Millie Bobby Brown was good in both of them, and that one and the most recent one. But
I've not seen Kong versus Godzilla.
Well, Kong versus Godzilla was badass. It was really good. I'm serious. I love Adam Wingard. Period. He's like one of my favorite directors. But I thought he did a kick-ass job with that movie.
I've seen the 2014 Godzilla movie and King of Monsters and Kong Skull Island.
Yeah. What, you haven't seen Kong Skull Island, or you have?
No, I have. I have seen Kong.
Yeah.
I was actually gonna skip it, but then fucking Dave Osher was talking about it in the Realms Deep server. I was like, might as well watch. It turned out to be best fun.
I loved it. I didn't expect to either, but I mean, I knew like, all right, I like this director. This can't be that bad. It's a Godzilla movie, so worst case scenario, I would just fall asleep to some giant I love it.
Damn.
It's fucking the shit where they like go into the middle of, the core of the world or whatever, and then the gravity shift, where they're like doing like the sort of like 180 with the gravity, like you get to that point of equilibrium and then they land on the other side.
I think you're talking about Kong
that's the new
versus
one.
Godzilla. Yeah, I've not seen that one.
Yeah, that's in the newest one.
Okay, well, fuck it, never mind.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, spoiler alert. Whoops.
They'll be fine. We'll have to put that in the title as like warning. If you've not seen Spy Kids, if you haven't seen Spy Kids or Kong versus Godzilla, don't listen to this podcast.
Or like just have the title on YouTube be like In the Keep podcast with Omar parentheses Spy Kids plus Godzilla spoilers.
Like it's not even. It doesn't even say buff on it. It just says Omar, Spy Kids, and Godzilla.
Fuck yeah, dude.
No, I'm not gonna do that.
Damn.
They'll get over it. They'll get over it. They'll be okay.
That's what I want my legacy to be.
You ruined Spy Kids for a whole generation.
Yeah. What whole generation? There's no way kids these days are watching Spy Kids.
What? Why not?
They got other movies to watch. I don't know what the
what's
fuck
cool?
they watch.
I don't even know what's cool for kids now. What do kids watch?
Kids watch.
I think they just watch R-rated movies now. I don't think that there's like you don't get to have a childhood anymore. You just go straight to the fucking.
I mean, when I was a kid, my parents let me watch Bad Boys. That was one of my experiences in learning English. Was fucking Bad Boys, and I think that's probably one of the reasons I'm a little vulgar.
Where's your family from?
Egypt.
Egypt, yeah. So you guys use the Z a lot when you talk to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Use a lot of things.
That's just something I noticed. I think I told you before, like that I had gone through like the Defense Language Institute, and I was learning Iraqi, and so I would like try to talk to other people who are Arab or spoke Arabic, and my Southern accent mixed with the Iraqi accent, trying to talk to an Egyptian person was just.
Oh no!
Like, and they just, it's almost like they understood what I was saying, but they would just be laughing at how ridiculous I sounded.
Well, like even people with like Iraqi accents sometimes have trouble talking to people like Egyptian accents. Yeah. So imagine just tossing a Southern American accent in there is just, it's not going to work out for anybody.
Well, Iraqi is like the fucking Alabama of the Middle East, really. Like the way that they speak, because they just string words together. Like, hey, it's like the same way they were like, "Hey, how y'all doing today?" They're like, "Shakamuki, Bafundak Al Rashid," and I was like, "Oh, what the fuck did he say?" And he's like, "He said what's up in the hotel," and I'm like, "I don't know why I said that, but it just sounds like they just there's no separation of that. Literally, if you write out phonetically Iraqi, it's like you have to discern, okay, this is part of the first word of a sentence. This is the second word. And so I'm actually doing that backwards because it reads this way. That's wild. So do you guys, actually moved here from Egypt or?
I'm currently in Egypt.
What? I did not know that.
Yeah. It's fucking, it's 8 p.m. right now.
Fuck. I had no idea. You speak English like so perfectly that I just assumed you live in America.
That's because of watching Bad Boys over and over again. Bad Boys and Spy Kids.
Fuck yes.
No, it was actually like here's a hot tip. Here's a hot trick. You know, like when pretty much making any media, the big rule of thumb is show, don't tell. A really like the perfect movie example of that is all Pixar movies. Is because I watched Finding Nemo and The Incredibles and all that stuff before I spoke a word of English without any Arabic subtitles, and I fully understood them.
There's this guy is a wrestler named Kevin. I think he goes by Owens now. It used to be Kevin Steen, and he was a French Canadian.
Yeah.
And he learned English by just watching wrestling and like Jim Ross doing the commentary. So his English was like this like Oklahoma guy saying like he's beating him like a government mule, but he learned perfectly how to speak and just doing it as a little kid. And I think, yeah, as a kid, it's way easier to learn languages anyway.
Yeah. It's like this media that's the more easier you can access it just by looking at it and not necessarily understanding what's being said. That's the easier it is to learn that language.
Yeah. Man, I wish my parents had encouraged me to learn languages when I was little, because there's not a thing where I grew up. It's like, we speak American here.
I mean, over here, it's kind of, I think like every school teaches at least a secondary language, if not 3 different languages. And
yeah.
With like how many tourists are here, I know some people that can't read or write in Arabic, but they still speak more than one language. That's because that's just how tourism is.
Yeah.
You meet Americans and English people all the time.
Man, now I'm gonna have to come visit you, man. I want to go do all that shit.
I mean, hey, come on down. Christian wants to come down. Christian wants to come down too.
Let's make a fucking trip out of it. Let's all go to Egypt.
Hell yeah!
Absolutely. Oh yeah, I've been planning it for years.
Yeah.
Every year I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna come out. I promise.
I'll take you guys to a pie restaurant that is literally older than the U.S.
A pie restaurant? Like they just make pies, like apple pie and.
Well, different kinds of pies. It's a whole thing. It's a whole ordeal. I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah.
It's called fatir mishaltet, which is just... it's like the top layer of a pie, like a pot pie. Just take that top layer, make it kind of like a sandwich, like a lasagna, and stuff it with stuff. Put stuff in it.
That sounds fucking crazy good. Let's do it. I'm in.
Let's go.
I'm not sure when, but I'll make this happen.
Yeah, I think it's pretty easy and safe to travel these days.
Well, I mean, it can't be right now, but eventually. We can't do this shit forever. I hope.
Yeah,
God,
can you make it here by Saturday?
I was surprised I got to fly to Denmark, but it wasn't a big deal. Other than just make sure I had to have my vaccine card and wear a mask on the plane and all that shit. But it wasn't a problem. They let me in, crazily. It was actually harder to get back into the U.S. than it was to leave and go to Scandinavia.
Huh?
Yeah.
Well, a hot tip. Any trip you take, just buy a one-way ticket, and if you just stay way longer than you tell them you'll stay, they'll just deport your ass back for free. I don't think they'll let you back, but you get to save on that money. You get to save on the plane trip.
And they throw you in a prison cell with Danny Trejo and Tom Cruise.
So I played juniors in college hockey. And back in juniors, I played with a bunch of Europeans, Ukrainian, Latvians, Belarus, Russian, most of those countries. And so they had to have visas to play over here. And one of the ways they tried getting around, because you had to go back every so often for X amount of time.
Right.
So what they did is they go on vacation to Mexico for 2 weeks and then come back. It ended up happening where I guess the U.S. government didn't like that.
Yeah.
And so they got a 2-year ban from the U.S. for it. So it was an interesting thing that happened. I didn't know that was a thing up until it happened. And of course he was our best player on the team. So, that sucked too. But,
wait, so the rule is that you every once in a while you don't have to go back to the country where you're from. You just have to go to any other country in the world and then go
You don't
back?
have to go home, but you can't stay here kind of thing.
The fuck?
Yeah. And it was something they had tried bypassing it, something like that. And it ended up not working out so great in their favor, obviously. So yeah, they got deported.
Fuck.
Yeah. I have a lot of hockey stories like that with a lot of the imports making some interesting decisions while here.
The fuck?
We're like
in
so.
Vegas.
Where are you from?
I live in Colorado.
Okay, so yeah, you actually can't play hockey there. So I was surprised when I moved to Arizona. Like we have a hockey team. Like it's like the Roadrunners or whatever, and I was just like, that just sound. It's like the Jamaican bobsled team, like the Arizona hockey team. Is
I was gonna say, isn't
ridiculous.
Arizona like really hot?
In the southern half of Arizona is like desert. It's the Sonoran Desert. It's fucking hellscape outside, right? Like it's starting to cool off because it's like we don't have winter, but we have summer, and then we have super summer in the summertime. But
I get that.
Oh, yeah, no, Arizona definitely has hockey too. ASU, they were actually in the same league as us, so we'd go play against them.
Yeah, but there's just something about being in Phoenix playing hockey, that just like ice hockey.
Yeah.
Yep. It doesn't make sense.
I mean, hey.
Literally like 45 degrees Celsius or some shit, and you're just like, yeah, but we're keeping the rink cold. Like it's no problem.
We actually,
well,
we've got ice rinks here in Egypt as well. There's only one time I went ice skating, and I was so very bad at it, obviously because I had no practice. And when one time I was getting up, and I saw that at least 3 people were recording me, back with their old fucking Nokia flip phones. I was like, what, maybe ice skating is just not for me.
You might be the only person who can answer this question for me. You can go ahead first, Christian, because this is going to be a whole different tangent.
Okay, yeah, I was just going to say, I have a buddy I played with. He played for Team Iran.
Yeah.
Oh.
And so, yeah, I was like, I didn't know that was a thing, as I guess short-sighted as that is, but I kind of assumed hockey was a very Canada, Eastern European, and United States thing.
Yeah, like I would assume it's only happens in places that are cold. Like
like inherently because ice.
Yeah.
Even go as far as like Arizona. But yeah, that's the end of my tangent.
The pyramids, aliens or not?
I'm gonna say it was the lizard people.
The
lizard people. We tied it back. That's why Spy Kids 4 never happened, because like the lizard people, they control the world. They wouldn't let it happen.
Fuck.
Damn.
Well, something interesting, Dredd. Have you ever been to the pyramids?
No.
Man, that's crazy. I mean, I guess it's just like whatever.
I mean it's tourist stuff, like people in New York don't fucking spend their weekends going on a boat ride of Manhattan. They just live there.
I mean, I still went to the Grand Canyon, like it was kind of out of my way, but it is a tourist thing to do, but it's like, fuck, it's right there. It's not like tourist shit. Like it's like, going to eating at the shitty restaurants. It's like going to see one of the wonders of the world that just happens to be right there.
Actually, I did plan on going to see the pyramids this winter because I do have this like weird irrational fear. Like, you know what? Literally any day a fucking meteor can just come and take the pyramids out.
So when you do visit, I need you to report back immediately on whether or not it was this lizard people or the
I'll
aliens.
investigate.
Okay. You're the guy who's going to crack the case.
I just show up with like a fucking like a magnifying glass or whatever. I think I have a magnifying glass here, yeah.
I'll put that in the episode description. Like Omar Samir, Egyptologist. Like
parentheses detective.
Paranormal detective.
I'll find those lizards if it's the last thing I do.
Studied under Agent Mulder at the X-Files for years.
And... all the fucking guards at the pyramids are just watching me fuck around with the magnifying glass, humming the X-Files theme.
They should probably just be like, another one of these, really? It would be the first
every
time
day.
either.
You'd be the least weird guy.
I gotta take an early lunch.
Fuck. You never seen any of them? You never been to any of this stuff? None of the cool shit?
So, like, I've seen the pyramids, but not, like, up close.
Right, like, they're just over
pyramids, there. Like, yeah, the pyramids are so fucking big, you can see them from plenty of places.
Yeah.
They're just...
And
They're
at
just
no
there.
point in your life where you're like, I'm gonna check that out. Like,
Well,
that
it's
looks cool.
it's quite a few hours away. Like they're big, they're really big, but you look out there and you see them in the horizon. It's like, when you're playing a game, you're like, oh, I'm gonna fight that boss eventually.
Yeah.
But then you're like, no, it's way too far away. I'm not gonna fucking go there.
That's nuts. I've traveled all over the fucking place. I like went to Yosemite. I haven't made it. I'm probably not gonna now because I'm moving. But I wanted to go do Glacier and Yellowstone,
Doing this.
and I went to Monument Valley, which was fucking dope. Like, there's so many fucking cool ass things. I like seeing cool things.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've literally never left Egypt.
Man,
I've seen a lot of stuff in Egypt. I just
yeah.
never left. Never got a visa. Never nothing.
No passport.
I got a passport. I got a passport because I was actually planning on going a trip to E3 2019 with Christian actually and a bunch of our other friends. But pretty much overnight, you have to book a visa appointment to see if they'll actually let you have it, and the waiting time for it went from 3 months to like 6 months overnight.
Man,
And so I was trying to get it in like January, and I was like, well, the visa appointment would be literally after E3 now, so I'm fucked.
We had a great time though.
You son of a bitch.
That trip was pretty cool though. It would have been great having Omar there, but we had our buddy from Canada that we've never met before. None of us had met. We always just knew each other online.
yeah.
But I flew from Colorado, to Los Angeles. Our buddy from Canada flew out to Los Angeles, and our buddy from it's not Santa Monica, Santa
Ana, Orange County.
Come up.
Just say his full address on the podcast.
Yeah, I got really specific with his. So, but yeah, it was super fun. It would have been great to have him there, and we're planning at some point to get him out here. So
yeah, for some reason I don't think we're gonna make E3 2022.
yeah, probably not.
On a hunch.
We had like a very similar experience at like QuakeCon. It's just like, all these people that you've been talking to for maybe years or whatever, but then you just meet them for the first time, and it's like no different. It's just like, oh, this is awesome. Like we're doing the same thing we usually do, just sitting. We're breathing the same air now. That's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, getting our human interaction in.
Yeah,
you can just slap the shit out of each other instead of having to just hurl insults at each other.
Yeah, now I don't have to slap myself for you. You can just slap me.
Oh, you got weird friends.
Just
You got hit with a shovel, so
yeah, that's fine.
it's pretty normal for him.
Yeah.
So, we didn't slap each other, but we rented out an Airbnb, and there's 3 of us staying there, and obviously there's only 2 beds. So what do? All 3 of us went on one bed. No, but we shared couches and stuff. And
keep going.
I don't know if Omar has ever seen this video, but at some point we had like a pillow tossing contest, and our buddy Rex threw the pillow and it hit everything on the table.
Mm.
And we don't know why it was a good idea, but like you were saying, it was just. Have you not seen it?
I have not.
Oh,
Christian's like, and anyway, that's how I got HIV.
Oh, no, but like you were saying though,
yeah, you got
awesome
HIV in another way.
At
another Airbnb.
No, well, it's not HIV, but across the street there's this Hotel Cecil in Los Angeles. If you know what that is.
Is that where people got murdered?
I've only ever been to LA like one time, and
Yeah.
I wasn't impressed.
No, I wasn't either. But so there's this Netflix documentary about this place called Hotel Cecil.
Oh yeah, I have
And-
seen that. I have seen that documentary.
Yeah, so
Like
we had
the girl who gets like trapped in the water tank or whatever.
Yeah, so I had went there E3 2017, I think, and my older brother and we stayed in that hotel without knowing, of course, because we wouldn't have done it had we known. And then we went E3 2019. We rented it right across the street from there because LA has some weird thing where there's like, really pretty nice stuff, and then immediately across the street it's kind of rough. But yeah, so Hotel Cecil turned out to be this whole like haunted serial killer thing, and I was like, that's not great. You know, we went there for E3, and then you figure out that you're staying somewhere with a bunch of like killings and murders. Yeah, it was just
That's awesome, dude. That's a haunted E3 trip.
Yeah.
I
wish I did that again with you.
I booked a night at the Hollywood Hotel, which is like the scariest fucking place I think I've ever seen. Like literally is like, you know, the attendant is behind bulletproof glass kind of place. And
Damn.
I went out, I like, you know, ventured out to my car because I forgot my like phone charger, and these two, we'll call them male prostitutes. I'm not sure what pronoun they preferred, but they presented as male.
Okay.
Kind of. And they approached me in a way that made me feel very unsafe. And I literally like slammed my car door shut and sprinted back into the hotel room and locked the door behind me. I was like, fuck this fucking town. Yeah. They're like, hey buddy, you want a blowjob? And I was just like, no. Are you sure? And they're like walking towards me, and I'm just like, I'm out of here. I'm fucking gone.
They didn't even ask for money, huh?
I don't know what the deal was.
You know,
like, I think they just finished up with each other in the car, and they were just looking for the next victim.
Well, no, right after they left, they called a mutual friend like, all these pickup lines are just not working. I don't get it.
Yeah, it was. I haven't been that scared in a long time. Because they were big dudes too. It wasn't like, you know, they probably could have just had their way with me. Maybe I should have just been open minded. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's 2021 now, so
You'd have to rename this podcast In the Deep.
yeah, you just keep in the deep at that point. Just remove one of the ends.
Oh yeah, I would not eat or drink anything at a place called the Hollywood Hotel.
No,
That
don't.
just seems like a trap.
I can't believe I slept in the bed they had there, man. It was one of those like, I think it had like a corn operated like massage thing, like you get in a
Oh no.
Who knows what went on in that place?
That sounds like the kind of place that would have people just casually like walking around between the walls.
Yeah,
Just-
it's like all the mirrors are like a two-way mirror.
Every single one.
Yeah, they're just
Yes. So at the Hotel Cecil, the main lobby, the floor is leather, and
gross.
yeah, I'm not really sure how I would feel about that. I don't know why that was ever a thing. And then like it was all community showers, you know, and the drains, they didn't drain, so the water just fills up. You're like,
Nope.
no.
No, thank you.
The good news is they had a Hooters though nearby,
Bro,
back by the event center. So
At least
breakfast, lunch, and dinner was all at Hooters. So they were the
Hey.
pick-me-up part of the day.
dinner and a show. Fucking Hotel Cecil sounds like I'd want to get murdered at there.
No, you.
I would say you don't have a choice in the matter, but
Oh.
you know, it happens or it doesn't. You know, you're just rolling the dice when you're there.
Yeah, or anywhere. Anywhere in Los Angeles at night or any time of day, you're just rolling the dice. It's a crapshoot.
No, that's good.
I
to
see
know.
why people stayed on the main road by the event center now.
Yeah.
But I was, you know, in college, not a lot of money. You're like, this is so cool. And then you figure out years later that it was not so cool. So.
I stayed at a hostel in Kansas City one time, and it wasn't scary. It was just fucking weird. Like it was like an Airbnb kind of situation where some lady had a gigantic house, and it was just like, you know, a community house, and like you have the showers and, you know, bedroom or kind of individually rented out. But it was like the lady who owned it was like a holistic healer and also a clown. And she wasn't there when I was there. So like I just walk up to the door and knock, and they're like, hey, you're Ty. And it's just like the other people who were staying there. And they're like, well, come on in, buddy. And like I had my cat with me in like a crate, and they also had cats. So that was like a whole fucking problem. We had to keep her like in the bedroom. And I was very surprised. Like people were not very social at all. Like I thought this was going to be like, we'll meet some interesting people over breakfast. And they're all just like, I'm working here. Just like,
Can you have that lady on the podcast? Fucking holistic healer by day, clown by night.
That's the thing. When I booked the place, I was like, I'm looking forward to meeting this individual. That's going to be interesting. And
what kind of life does she lead? I want to know more. Put her on a podcast.
But the place was all decked out with like spirit crystals and shit, all that kind of stuff too. It's pretty interesting.
Fucking spirit crystals and red noses and spirit crystals and red noses. That's going to be the title of my autobiography. Once literally after this podcast, I'm gonna become a holistic healer clown.
Don't show up dressed as a clown when you go to prison.
Just have like one of those conferences where people like pay $700 or $800 to be a part of, to listen to a fucking motivational speaker, but I'm dressed as a clown the entire time.
You should put that should be a character in the game. Is the spiritual healer clown.
Oh yeah.
Let's go.
The thumb people, or maybe the thumb guy is a spiritual healer / clown.
Oh,
he's got a red
like
nose.
He moonlights as a spiritual healer. Well, like once a weekend he drops by Buff to be an enemy, but he does spiritual healing on the weekends.
Is there a story to Buff?
Not necessarily, not really. It's mostly just it's like a child's imagination. It's just like a kid having fun.
But you're an adult.
Well, I'm in touch with my childlike imagination. What do you mean I'm an adult?
What's that fucked up thing that Family Guy had, like Michael Jackson with the cereal box commercial, and he's like, the kid in me loves the delicious flavor, and the adult in me loves the kid in me.
Oh, no.
That might be the part I have to... I'm kidding. They did it on TV. We'll be all right.
They put it on TV. They'll let it on YouTube.
I don't know, actually, these days. But whatever. I get demonetized on YouTube. There are worse things that could happen.
That's fun.
Yeah.
What else is this podcast on? Yeah, Spotify?
I mean, everything that I'm aware of. It's on Ghana, which is like the Indian Spotify.
It's a country.
No, it's like GAANA. It's like it's a Spotify like app, but localized to like India.
Oh.
And it's on iTunes and Stitcher and all that shit. I think SoundCloud's the only one that it's not on, and that's because SoundCloud doesn't allow you to enter a RSS feed to SoundCloud. That you have to use SoundCloud and then put it on everything else. I don't know why they do that, but that is their preference.
Well, they're just missing out on this.
Yeah, fuck
Spy Kids Godzilla cast.
That's that is kind of interesting though, that you bring up it is all from your imagination. It was like it being from a kid's perspective.
Yeah,
because like all the health is like soda and shit like that. So are you encouraging children to consume sugar? Is this a
wait, hold on. I did not say anything that even sounded like that.
This is the Dan Rather interview. Let's get down to the gotcha questions.
The fuck is Dan Rather?
I don't know. It's some news. He might not even be relevant to this conversation. I just said the name of a news reporter in America.
Okay. I hope Dan Rather's doing good. I hope he's good in life.
Was he the guy who did the like "fuck it, we're doing it live" thing? Was that him?
I don't know, but I hope he's doing good too.
I don't know. Fuck it. I don't watch the news. That's a problem. I have no idea what's going on in the world.
I'm going to tell you something. Watching the news is a lot of things. A problem is not one of them.
It's so depressing. Like every time I like visit my grandparents, they just watch the news every day still. And I'm just like, this is just fucking really depressing. Like I realize that bad things happen, but like I don't want to hear like every rape, murder, and child abduction that happened today every day before I go to bed. It just gives me nightmares.
Like I know all this stuff happens a lot to a lot of people. I can't do anything about it, so I don't want to know about it.
Yeah.
Like damn.
At least we have Buff to keep us happy, and we can remember all of our fun things about being children
I
as we
hope
consume copious amounts of soda and ride rockets to the moon.
it's all look ammo cola. It's all completely sugar free. That's my guarantee as a game developer. All the cans of soda are sugar free and buff.
It's like LaCroix or something like that, or what? Like it's like seltzer water.
It's just.
That doesn't sound like my childhood at
It's
all.
aquarium
Yeah,
water.
I was
Seltzer
drinking
water.
3 liters of Faygo when I was a kid. Like, in a day.
Oh, yeah. What'd you call me? And
Faygo is a Detroit-based soda ripoff company. Like, basically, they just make the cheap, shitty version of every other popular soda, and you could get a 3 liter for like 99 cents or whatever when I was a kid. I'm just like, fuck yes, I'm drinking this whole bottle of orange soda today. Like,
yeah, like I was fucking addicted to soda when I was a kid.
oh yeah,
and not anymore. I quit, and that's why all the cans of soda and buff completely sugar free. They are all aquarium water.
I literally I can't tell you the last time I had a soda. Like I can't drink them anymore. I used to literally I could not go a day without drinking a Pepsi. Like
Damn,
maybe
bro.
5 or 6 of them. Like I was just always drinking soda. It's probably honestly, I think it was basic training. Like I just didn't have any sugar for a long time. And then when I came back, I think I probably had a sip of a Coke. I'm like, this is terrible. Fuck that. And I never touched it again.
Damn.
Yeah. That shit was...
It's funny. So
Did not have the same effect on nicotine though, surprisingly.
Oh.
As soon as they told me you can go to the gas station, I went straight there and bought cigarettes.
It's funny. So I quit soda in 2017, and people tell you when you get off artificial sugar, you can taste the natural sweetness in a bunch of things. That's all fucked up. I'm eating chicken. I don't want to taste the natural sweetness in chicken.
You
The
put
fuck is
sweeteners
this?
on your chicken? Like, what do you
No,
put sugar in it? Or?
No, it just tasted like that. I was like, what the fuck? It's not supposed to taste like this. It's supposed to taste like salt. Or, chicken.
What the fuck are you talking about? The natural sweetness in chicken.
That's
What
what
are
it
you
felt like
feeding
for a
your
while.
chickens over there? Soda?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know what they feed chickens.
They're just taking a chicken and just pouring fucking 3 liters of fake soda.
It's like caramelized
crazy?
onions. With
Am I
Diet
going
Coke,
crazy?
but,
I don't know. I next time I have a bunch of I just bought a bunch of chicken thighs, and when I cook them, I'll let you know if I find the natural sweetness in them.
Well,
I was about to say, I'm not a good cook, so everything I cook is always no seasoning. I can't say I
Really?
ever
Ugh.
tasted sweet
wait,
chicken.
that's not being a bad cook. That's just making
just-
bad choices.
Plain food.
Yeah,
Let me put you on. You want to make chicken? All you need to do is go buy this fantastic product. It's called Cajun seasoning, like Tony's Creole seasoning, and just put it all over your chicken.
Oh,
Your life will change
That's all?
forever. That's all you need.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I got to do that. Yeah, I drink water and eat plain chicken and white rice. That's it. So,
So fucking
routine
buff, bro.
every day.
yeah.
Is that the secret to your muscle?
It just never occurred to him to put seasoning on food.
I thought that wasn't allowed. I thought you had to suffer when you eat food.
Are you in prison right now? Like what? You don't have to suffer when you eat. I mean, you could eat really
think this
healthy
is
shit and put spices. It's not like you're adding calories or fat with herbs and spices.
I thought you had to suffer to be happy, though. I thought that was the whole thing, right?
I don't think you have to suffer by eating plain chicken with nothing on it.
I mean, it makes you appreciate when you go to the restaurant, though. You're like, wow, this is good.
Yeah.
I'm known as the garbage disposal.
So you're gonna appreciate restaurant food by making your personal food terrible?
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to
Exactly
put you
how
on.
it
Like, there's a lot of days when, like what I mentioned earlier, when we were doing the Realms Deep shit, but where I'm on Discord, streaming myself in the kitchen while I'm cooking, talking to people, and I fucking go ape shit when I cook. Man, I love cooking.
So Christian is actually burning garbage in every single room of the house, just so that when he goes outside, the air just so fresh.
Oh yeah.
It's beautiful.
It's not wrong.
That gamer stink.
But we're actually going to be selling Gamer Stink at Buff Gamer Stink on our store sometime after launch.
I saw this advertisement on Twitter the other day where it was just like, design your own fragrance and advertise it on your social media and we'll sell it. And I was just like, just beer and BO would be, it's beer and body odor by the mother.
Yeah. Which is also the title of your autobiography.
That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea.
I was gonna say that also sounds like I play hockey, like beer league now. That sounds exactly like the locker room, beer and BO as well.
Who wants to read a 26-year-old's autobiography? Though that's like not interesting. I haven't lived enough
life. It's like a chapter long.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
If you make up a lot of cool, interesting shit, then can they sue you for writing a completely fake autobiography?
There's just, you put it in the fiction section and it's not a problem.
I mean, if no one can verify it, it's, you know.
Okay. You don't know that I didn't go to the moon?
I want my autobiography to be like Forrest Gump. Like, it's got to be that wild.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
He just did a bunch of crazy shit.
Wait, doesn't Forrest Gump like actually go to the moon in the book version?
The book, yeah.
Yeah.
And he's a pro wrestler. He goes to the moon. And all the other shit that's in the movie. It's wild, man.
Like the movie is already crazy enough. He already does enough crazy shit in the movie.
Right.
As soon as I heard about the book, like, what the fuck?
I didn't know it was a book.
Oh, yeah. I think there's a sequel, too. I've never read either of them.
Oh,
sequel to the book, not the movie.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, just want to make sure.
Yeah, I don't know where you go after the end of that. It's just like, okay, now Forrest is settled down and living in this house, raising his kid. And that's it.
The second book starts with Forrest Gump reanimating himself from the dead. That's one of the other things he can do.
Forrest Gump 2 Electric Boogaloo. It's like, now it's like Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon. Like, he's Cyber Gump.
It's like, my mama told me death is like a box of chocolates.
You never know which one you're going to get, but I know which one you're going to get. Pop, pop, pop.
Forrest Gump 2 is a fucking hardcore action movie.
How many movies have we spoiled so far? We've spoiled Forrest Gump 2, all four Spy Kids movies. Godzilla.
Yeah. Godzilla. Fuck. Shit.
Does any of this tie into your game?
Is
there any way I could get back on the subject of your game?
I'll make it work. I mean, Forrest Gump 2 sounds like a perfect movie for like a fake movie poster and buff. I should send you some of the fake ones that are made already.
Okay.
They're very fun. They actually do tie into Godzilla, so that's how we tie into buff. Can I name a few?
Yeah.
There's Weekend at Godzilla's, which is like Weekend at Bernie's, but instead of Bernie, it's Godzilla. Fuck. What
Are
else?
you allowed to say Godzilla? Like,
I wrote Gobzilla with a B.
You're fine. That's one way to get around it.
They can't sue Gobzilla. They'd have to claim Gobzilla and make him real first. Fuck. What else? Lunch at Tiffany's. You know Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Yeah, but it's lunch at Tiffany's.
It's Lunch at Tiffany's, and it's an action movie, and Tiffany got a shotgun.
Okay.
Yeah. Knievel Dead, which is just
that
Evil Dead,
sounds dope.
Evil Knievel.
Yes, it's just like Bruce Campbell, but he's like in the American flag outfit on a fucking motorcycle, shooting a shotgun as he flies over a ramp.
That would be actually much cooler than what I had.
Sorry. No, you can't use that. That's my idea.
Shit.
I'm playing.
You can't sue me for Knievel Dead. You bastard.
I like it's one of those like night shift get bored things, but take every movie that I can and make the porn parody of it.
Oh.
Like
what?
Like, you know, I mean, they obviously is Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Last Ass.
Nice.
Or that's a pretty low hanging fruit. And then there's like
Shawshank Redemption,
Harry Pooper and the Chamber Pot of Secrets.
There you go.
the sex prisoner of Azkaban.
Of Azkaban.
That's good. Yeah. There's some movies that like you don't even have to change the name; you just have to change the context of how you say it, like Contact or some shit like that.
Jurassic Pork.
Jurassic Pork is a good one. Yeah. Tenacious Double D's.
Nice.
Yeah, I could go on forever with that shit. But.
This is the perfect
Predator.
podcast. Predator is just Predator.
That's another one. You just say it differently.
You just put it in a different context.
Yep, and then you have the sequel Predators. You know.
Oh,
Oh God, no.
Yeah, easy.
there
I don't
goes the
wanna make
neighborhood.
And then there's, fuck, like Lord of the Cock Rings.
I was somehow just thinking of Lord of the Rings, trying to think of one with it.
Which changes the whole context of the movie. It's like one ring to rule them all, one ring to buy them. Just like no.
If it's a cock ring, does the dick disappear or does the person fully disappear?
That's a good question. So then it turns into the porn parody of The Invisible Man.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like
Still somehow starring Kevin Bacon. No, that's Hollow Man. Shit.
Kevin's Bacon. Yeah.
Oh, Kevin. God damn it.
Yeah. Instead of Footloose, it's Butt Loose.
What the fuck? I see you just imagining more fucking porn movies.
It's like a weird hobby I have. Like every time. Okay, let's change.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Let's move on. This is a lot of fun. I don't know what the problem is.
No, I've still got time. We can talk as long as you want up until I think my other meeting.
Yeah.
Gives a shit. I like when podcasts do this, where we're supposed to be talking about something and it just devolves into debauchery every time.
It's better content if everyone's just having fun. It's good. You're thinking of more porn movies, you son of a bitch. I see you. You open book looking ass motherfucker. I can read your mind.
I'm just gonna pull up IMDb and start going through. Citizen Kane.
Forrest Rump.
12 horny men.
No.
It's 12 angry men. Sometimes it doesn't work unless they know the source material.
You know, it still works. You can still get the plot.
This is definitely going to get demonetized, and I'm okay with it. It's fine.
No.
I'll lose my 37 cents I would have got off the advertisement for this video.
This is sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends. Whatever.
It's like Count Dacula. It's again your boy, Raid Shadow Legends, with the new Doom Tower. Like, who fucking cares?
The fuck?
He's one of the few people content creators on YouTube who actually makes his ads an enjoyable part of his video. Like, I actually sit through every time he does the Raid Shadow Legends thing because I'm like, this is entertaining. I don't know why.
Good. I mostly
what's the other one? The earbud ones that everybody has now. They're
Raycon.
Yeah, those things. Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to get a dope sponsor. What was the name of your cola in your game?
Ammo Cola.
Can I say in the Keep is sponsored by Ammo Cola?
Yeah, sure. Sure, Ammo Cola sponsored by fucking in the Keep.
Yeah,
most of the time I get those ads. They're usually like a minute long, like exactly. Yeah. So I press L 6 times.
You remember all the fake trailers they made for? God damn it, we're spoiling so many movies for Grindhouse.
I do not remember. No.
So there's if you ever watched the Grindhouse movies, they made a bunch of fake trailers for really cool looking other Grindhouse movies to go as the credits for it.
Yeah.
And one of them was Rob Zombie's Werewolf Women of the SS. It's just sexy werewolf ladies fucking. I don't know why. It's the weirdest fucking shit. But like that could be fun to like make a bunch of fake trailers for these fake movie posters you're talking about.
I mean, I'd be a little out of my forte. I can't animate, but
we've already established that you're an excellent writer and director. So all you got to do is just make it happen.
Sure, yeah.
You just gotta find the talent.
Just get Gianni to do it.
There you go.
Yeah, who'd be a good Godzilla?
Gianni doing it's Duke Nukem's voice.
Oh,
I'm gonna fuck Tokyo up.
Is that what he does in the new movie? He just wakes up like, I'm gonna fuck Tokyo up. I don't know what I am. I don't know what I'm doing.
I'm gonna cut off your building's head and shit down its hallways or stairwell. I don't know.
Imagine just working that office. You're taking a lunch, and fucking Godzilla just shits on you.
Godzilla steps on a house and he's like, "Shake it, baby." Why does he say that? I genuinely actually want someone to make a mod where you play it's like a Godzilla game where you're a Godzilla and you just replace all of his growls with Duke Nukem.
God damn it. So Godzilla's not even king of the monsters anymore. He's just an asshole.
Hail to the king of monsters, baby.
Oh. I think this is the best movie or mod that we've ever come up with.
Somebody's gonna steal our idea. There's no way we can put this into production.
Those sons of bitches. If they steal Godzilla, I'll fuck him up. I'll find the son of a bitch. This is the best podcast.
The problem is that if I were to go back and edit out all the laughing and long pauses of us thinking of stupid shit to say, it cuts the runtime.
It's like a 20-minute podcast. No, it'll be great.
Okay, so we can't get Bruce Campbell, who's our second for Ash. And
Steve Buscemi.
Steve Buscemi.
What's he got going on these days?
He's a pretty tremendous actor, and he's in a lot of shit.
He's in a lot of shit. Okay, who else?
Oh yeah, man.
Oh, Gilbert Gottfried. I specifically checked. I'm not gonna tell you the context. It was about sleeping with Gilbert Gottfried, but I specifically checked what does Gilbert Gottfried have going on these days?
No. You have to tell us what the context of this is.
I don't remember how we got there, but it was how much money would you take to have sex with Gilbert Gottfried? And I was determining whether or not it would be a good career move. And he doesn't have a lot of stuff going on these days.
The answer is more money than I have now.
It would be like a medium career move, you know?
Every time that question comes to mind and people start saying these ridiculous numbers, they're like, I'm pretty sure the number's lower than what you're letting on to.
Yeah.
So Gilbert Gottfried as Evel Knievel Ash.
Yeah.
I can't even begin to do a Gilbert Gottfried impression. He was Iago in Aladdin, right?
Yeah.
So the only thing that comes to mind when I think of Gilbert Gottfried's voice is that College Humor video he did reading 50 Shades of Grey. And then he rotated his thumb on my clitoris or some shit like that.
Is that what fucking 50 Shades of Grey says?
Yeah, and that was the line that absolutely ended our monetization on YouTube.
Oh.
Yeah, 50 Shades of Grey is pretty graphic. I've never read it, but seeing these outtakes that people read, I'm like, this is pretty intense shit. Yeah, because what disturbs me about it is it's cool, whatever. If you want to read porn books, that's fine. But then I know so many women in my life, like my aunt or my mom or whatever, who were reading this shit openly in front of everybody, and I'm just I personally don't want to think about what goes through my
Yeah.
someone like my sister's head when she reads this. That's all.
I understand.
It's a free country.
It's the story, you know.
Yeah.
You're rooting for the plot.
I mean, we were just talking about making a movie where a giant lizard monster shits down a building.
Look, that's high art. Okay, that's
Okay.
that is not a product. Godzilla shitting on somebody. That is not a product. We all know nobody's gonna fucking go see that in theaters. We make that for art.
I guarantee you the book wouldn't sell nearly as well as 50 Shades of Grey did.
You don't know that. Okay.
50 Shades of Godzilla.
Boy.
That's what we need.
Is the God part of that back to the porn jokes earlier in the porn movie names? Godzilla.
I mean,
that's a good one.
Yeah, let's go. Godzilla rises from the ocean, and he's just a diarrhea asshole. Shits everywhere.
The framework to that you lost the arc somewhere along that sentence.
You know, sometimes that makes for the best books because, like, fucking 50 Shades of Grey was just a fan fiction. Lady wrote it on her phone, and yeah.
What about Robzilla? But it's just giant Rob Snyder.
Oh. I can get that. Rob Schneider
it'd be really cheap to make because, like, nobody really. I don't think he's getting a lot of work these days, right? So he'll probably do it, and we just make like a little train set kind of town, and he just stomps all over it, like in the original Godzilla movies. And
yeah, let's go.
And then we replace his voice with Duke Nukem, and we're done.
Wait, his agent right now is like, wait, what's this part about replacing his voice with Duke Nukem?
Yeah, we don't want you to talk or do any lines. We just need you to stomp on shit, and then do like some.
Is it the really bad dub too?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Even better.
Like Rob Schneider's just moving his mouth like
Oh no, it's Rob Snyder.
We're actually we're coming up with a lot of just fantastic movie ideas. I think expect a call from the Hollywood Hotel later today.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna get a call. Like somebody's agent's gonna contact us. Like, are you guys serious about producing this movie? We're really interested.
Oh no.
Yeah, we got Gilbert Gottfried and Rob Snyder are both like ready. They're both here, ready to read lines. Like,
and Danny Trejo just got out, and he's excited. He's fucking pumped for this movie.
That's not unreasonable because Danny Trejo seriously does do like those bottom of the barrel action movies. Yeah, he'll do any job as long as he gets paid for it. So,
I mean, hell yeah,
I like it.
I think we got something on our hands here, and I think you got a deal, Ty.
All right, last one, and then we'll sign off. Instead of machete kills, it's machete fucks.
Oh, let's go. That probably already exists somewhere.
Oh my god, I can't wait for my mom to listen to this one and write me back.
Your mom listens to this?
Oh yeah. My mom and my grandmother, and my dad, they listen to the podcast.
That's beautiful.
I know. I'm just being good old me.
Yeah. What a great support system you have behind you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll put this out, and me and Christian are both going to get fired probably.
Oh no.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I don't have a job. I'm not employed.
Oh, nice.
Oh, you just got fired in the middle? Oh, it's such a big announcement. Let's go.
Hey, it's just like we heard you were going on In the Keep podcast. You're fired.
Yeah, you go.
Yeah, they're just like, there's no chance. I almost made it to 1 year. Darn it.
Damn.
Yeah. 1 week out.
It's been excellent, and I implore everyone listening to go grab the demo for Buff, and also reach out to Major Arlene and make sure that she's okay after that video you guys made. Or she's Hideo Kojima Jr.
Okay, yeah, I was like, what the fuck? Wait, something happened? No.
Arlene is fine.
Yeah.
God, that did sound kind of dark. That would be really bad out of context. Arlene is fine. Everybody, please reach out and say, hey, Arlene. That's all.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna cut. The buff demo is available right now. Go grab it. Thank you to Omar and to Christian for being on the show, man. It's been a long time coming. I'm really glad we got to do it. And you know what? Just for fun in the comment section, how about you guys let us know what your crazy movie ideas are? I don't know. That sounds fun. Thank you to all of our supporters. Shan, Ben, Bridge, Anthony, Mike, Zan, Lord Revan, Fred, Brandy, Jack, Robert, Graceless Dragon, Red Eyes, Brad, Dots, Moose, Paul, Flam, Fam, all of you, Igrax, Simon, and Immorford. You're all incredible. If you'd like to be mentioned on that list, head over to inthekeep.com and you can find our support tab and our merch and all that kind of stuff. Inthekeep.com. Yay! Do that. And last but not least, I want to say thanks to the wonderful person who made the music you're listening to. This is by Fredrik Rojas. It is from the Buff original soundtrack, and you can follow him on Twitter. I've left a link in the episode notes. Much love. I love you. The drowned guy Katala loves you. Till next time, stay in the keep.